Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
All right, 11:02 on The Lock Shop here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Thank you very much for joining us. NFL action is underway today, and the Green Bay Packers leading the Detroit Lions. This is not what I was expecting. 14-6, the Packers leading the Lions right now. Jordan Love is 8 of 9 for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. What is going on here? There's 3 minutes left in the first. Lots of time here. Detroit's still going to come back and win this football game. But that is surprising me. Jared Goff is 3 of 3 for 51 yards and a touchdown. David Montgomery has 4 carries for 6 yards. Laporta has a touchdown already. Touchdowns for the Green Bay Packers, Reed and Kraft. But the Detroit Lions trailing 14-6. I think I said this morning on our show, by the time I start Lock Shop, the Detroit Lions will be up by 2 touchdowns. And turns out they're down 14-6. Long way to go in this game, though. Hus, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, quite the start for the Pack. Lots of time. We know that the Lions will score points. But I have to admit, that is a very, very impressive first half by Jordan Love. 124 and 2 TDs in the first quarter.
In the first quarter. 12 minutes in.
Too shabby. Hey, I tell you what, maybe this will be good. Maybe we'll actually have a game. Now, we still need the Lions to win by a touchdown.
I'm a little bit worried about a full-blown meltdown if this continues in the first half by me on the Lock Shop today. If the Lions are down by like 20 or something at halftime, I'm going to lose my mind.
Just, is there anything left of the mind after the last 24 hours? How was the watch party at BP?
It was somber. I'll tell you that. Like, it was that was still great. We had a nice little turnout, but this hockey team, man, I'm telling you, I don't even know what to say about this team anymore. Like, are you watching the football game? Did something just happen? What just happened? I don't have the TV in here. What happened?
Well, Jared Goff back in the pocket.
Did he throw a pick?
Well, are they going to call this a fumble or a pick? It looks like it was coming out of his hand. Yep. This is going to be 21-6 for the Packers. It's he was getting sacked. He was trying to It's going to be a really interesting call because his arm was going forward, but the ball was sort of coming out of his hand. And well, we'll await a ruling on this one. We will await a ruling on this one, but I think, hey, if you got Lions in fantasy, you're loving this right now. And if you took the over,
you're loving that too.
Move on and start making plans for the Commanders and Cowboys and the Seahawks and the 49ers tonight. We'll await on that call. But anyways, back to it. Dude, that was crazy. I mean, so I'm out watching the Jets Lightning last night, which was one of the best games I have seen in forever.
Really?
Oh my God, dude. It was so exciting. It was back and forth, incredible chances on both sides. Hellebuck is back, which we knew would happen very soon. I don't want to Barry Horowitz myself too much, but anyone that was watching WST yesterday knows what I'm talking about. Jets were up 2-0. Tampa got one towards the end of the first period and then absolutely dominated probably the first 8 minutes of the second period. It was 2-2, and then the Jets sort of held their own for the rest of the way. I mean, Johansson made some big saves as well. And then the much maligned Neil Pionk sets up the captain, Adam Lowry. No one could understand. What's Lowry doing on an overtime? Well, he's scoring the winning goal. That's what he's doing. But anyways, I had texted Remus after the first period. I just said, oh my God, what an insane game. He's like, are you talking about the Jets or the fact that the Oilers are down 4-1 already? I'm like, what? I did check out. You guys did have quite a banging post-game show. I mean, as I say, as much as it's depressing for people in the market, it's good for business because the numbers are exploding on EST with every depressing Oilers game. Although you got to worry that people won't check out in the second half of the season.
Well, that's the like. I didn't think we'd ever get to the concern this season of like the apathy where people don't even want to watch a post game, and we haven't got there yet. Like last night's post game sitting at 5,300 views, so people were fired up last night. But it's not far off, man. Like they're 10 points out of a wild card spot now. Like, well, you see it with the Jets. The Jets are a good hockey team. Colorado is a good hockey team. Dallas is a good hockey team. The Kings, the Golden Knights, and the Canucks all appear to be good hockey teams. Outside of that, the rest of the West really sort of falls off. So I'm kind of looking at it and going, 10 points out of a wild card spot. You're telling me the Oilers can't significantly outplay Arizona and Anaheim and Calgary the rest of the way if they start to go. And if there was ever a team that profiled to be one of these teams that overcomes the being out at Thanksgiving curse, it should be a team that was billed as a Stanley Cup contender at the beginning of the year. So there's still a slight hope here, but it is one of the most bizarre things I have ever seen in any sport, how a team could basically give the Stanley Cup contender, the Stanley Cup winner, their stiffest test, and then return the same core and be one of the worst teams in the league. They counted that touchdown, didn't they?
I'm just confirming it right now. They're showing it again.
I think they did, and then it says here the extra point was no good, so it's 20-6.
Okay, yeah, they're just showing a long-faced Jared Goff, wondering what the heck's happening on the sidelines.
If you want to live bet the Lions right now, plus 2.5, minus 111 at Cool Bet. You watch the
What's the money
live
line?
lines. Money line is plus 101, but it's not available at the moment. But the last time it was up, it was plus 101. If you want to bet the now it's plus 110.
Money, I mean,
now it's
they're
plus
down
110.
14 points.
Yeah,
I would have thought that might have been a bit more. Yeah, plus 110.
Plus 110. If you want to live bet the Lions right now. Look, we saw what the Lions did against the Bears, storming back late in that game. There's lots of time left in this one. But the start by Jordan Love is actually, I'm going to live bet the Lions as soon as that money line opens. Now it's at plus 115.
I got it. I'm in on the Lions. I'm in on your Lions at plus 115. Oh,
okay.
And it went right back down to plus 112. I got it at the perfect.
I see it moving here. So, yeah, let's get on that. We're going to live bet the Lions right now here on the Lock Shop and see how it plays out the rest of the way. But I do like getting live NFL action during the Lock Shop, buddy. It's very rare. The only day we can get it, but here we are, which is good news.
Here we are indeed.
But yeah, the Oilers are a mess, buddy, and I don't know what they do simply because they've already fired the coach. They've already tried to shock the room by sending down Jack Campbell. Luke Gazdic, who, by the way, is phenomenal at what he does.
He was great. I listened to that segment this morning.
Gazdic is great. He's great on sports.
Very well dressed. The funniest part of that, though, and I thought the exact same thing when I saw those pictures.
Yeah.
Holding the little slider. It's just such a bizarre thing to have in like some sort of a fashion shoot. Hey, you know what this picture needs? Go grab one of those sliders.
Yeah. Get a little slider and hold it in your hands. Boy, the money line sits at plus 141 right now for the Lions.
Why did they fumble?
But I don't know. It's locked up. I don't know what happened there.
It's 3rd and 5. That's why.
Oh, okay. So that's what's happening. Man, that's crazy.
Oh my God.
No. What?
I think Goff just fumbled again.
Don't even. I'm bringing the game up on my phone. I'm gonna watch it on my phone here while we do this because
yeah. You need to have that.
I should have brought my iPad in today. I totally dropped the ball.
What's the next thing you guys need in the EST studio?
TV in studio. Like, we got a TV out in the office there, but I gotta bring this game up. This is ridiculous.
Okay, so Goff is running. He's trying to get a first down, and that is completely out. 100% it's a fumble. Now let's just make sure that the Packers recovered it because that's certainly what it looked like. Goff wasn't there right underneath it. Oh, yeah. First down.
What a disaster.
It is, geez, I guess I maybe should have waited on that money line a bit more. Now it's plus 170.
Plus 170 now. I'm still going to live bet. Mind you, if they pump in, that's definitely out. God, you got to secure the ball better than that, Goff. barely even touched it, and he lost that ball. You got to hang on to that thing. Might as well hammer it again.
Hey, I mean, you mentioned, the American Thanksgiving and where the team is. I mean, the problem is they're not just like 2 points
I
up.
know, they're way out.
They're 10. And when you look at I'm just going to pull up the wild card standings because we can pretty much write off the top 3. They've got to pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's everybody, buddy. They got to pass everybody.
6 teams to get into the 8th spot. And they've got 11 points. And it's just a 10-point difference. Although they do have a few games in hand on the Kraken who are in that spot.
They've also beaten the Kraken twice. So that's nice. But
can you imagine if they didn't, or if they split there?
It's American Thanksgiving. They haven't beaten a good team yet. Like the Oilers, who were the Stanley Cup betting favorite at CoolBet before the season launched, have not beaten a good team. They beat the Kraken twice, the Islanders, the Preds, and the Flames. Those are all non-playoff teams. Like every time they've played a good team, they have lost. And we just saw a lot. Like they can't. 2 games ago, they come out, they start well, 2-0 lead, blow it. Last night they didn't start well. They allowed Carolina's bottom 6, their 3rd and 4th lines, to score back-to-back goals in less than a minute. And then a horrible breakdown. But like what Gazdic said before we interrupted by another Goff turnover, Gazdic said today, he goes, playing defense is a choice. And the Oilers are not choosing to play defense right now. Like 2 of the goals last night, guys were wide open right in front of the net. Like it simply can't happen, man. It's a disaster.
Did I hear you say that 97 and 29 were -7 last night?
They were a combined -7 last night. Yeah, they were combined -7 last night. Brian Swain, who churns out some, I'm pretty sure it was Swainer. He used to work for the Elks, a local reporter here. Swainer had this last night, which is like, and that's like usually you look at and blame everybody else. And like McDavid and Draisaitl like be the exception because they're absolutely incredible. But that's not what it is. How about this? Last season, McDavid and Draisaitl combined for 116 goals. In the Oilers' last 15 games, they've combined for 6. Last year, it was 116. In their last 15 games, they've combined for 6 goals, McDavid and Draisaitl. So it's like nothing is working.
I'm just looking at Dom Lucian's charts, projected standings and playoff chances at Thanksgiving. And Dom's model is usually pretty good. He always seems to hate on the Jets, but now he has the Jets finishing ahead of his beloved Toronto Maple Leafs. Feel that passion, Dom.
Yeah, Dom and I had blocked each other for a while, but we've grown up, and now we follow each other again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Blocktober.
Yeah, a long time ago, when I was very anti-analytic as opposed to now where I'm like accepting of it. Yeah, we got into it a couple times, but now it's all good. We've kissed and made up, so it's good.
Did you drop a watch the games on him?
Yeah, the eye test thing. Yeah, they don't like that. The analytics community does not like that, Hus.
So here's the Bruins right now are projected for 118 again. I cannot believe that team and what they're doing right now without Bergeron and Krejci. Pretty incredible. And then you got Dallas. These are just point projections. And I mean, playoffs, 100% for the Bruins, 99 for the Stars, Rangers, Panthers, 97 for the Canes and Golden Knights, 96 for the Kings, 96 for the Avalanche, 94 for the Jets. And the Jets projecting at 103. Canucks 93, projecting at 103. Leafs 90, projecting at 102. So that's how many teams? That's the top 10 teams. That's the top 11 teams in the league. And then you've got Jersey at 97. And these next teams that are, well, Jersey's 97 points, 74% to make the playoffs. And then you get into kind of no man's land. Pittsburgh, they're giving 54%. The Wild, they're giving 53%, which is sort of surprising to me because they have not been good at all.
No, they've not been good at all.
They're only 3 points ahead of the Oilers with a game in hand. So that's a little strange. But anyways, let's get down to the crux of it. Calgary, they give a 37% chance of making the playoffs. But they still give the Oilers 43%. Now, again, a lot of that is built on a model that is looking at that team last year. But I mean, Christ, I have no, and I mean, listen, I'm sure you guys have been pulling your hair out talking about it day after day on your programs. Like how that team, I mean, how different is this team from last year?
Well,
they didn't make any Connor Brown, I guess.
They brought in Connor Brown. They lost, like, due to not because of decisions that they didn't want these guys back, but they simply could not afford to keep Kyler Yamamoto, to keep Klim Kostin, to keep Nick Bjugstad, which would have been 3 regular forwards in the group, right? Like, and I think they missed those guys. I know Cassian brought it up on 2 Guys in Goalie a couple days ago. Like, Yamamoto, even though he struggled to finish sometimes, he was responsible defensively, and he was kind of like that guy in the room that everybody loved. You kind of had that taken out of the group. But like I said, man, the entire core is back. The entire blue line is back. Not that it's good by any stretch of the imagination. And then, the goaltenders have not been good, and they also haven't got any help. And I think the entire, they've, you can say they've lost their mojo, but I think their spirits have just been absolutely destroyed. To the point where they didn't even get, the new coach bump. They beat a couple of bad hockey teams, and then as soon as they started playing good teams again, it's the exact same thing. Like, Knobloch has already got into the same situation that Woodcroft was in, where he's rotating lines basically every single game. Like in Winnipeg, Hus, do they just have line combinations and leave them?
Oh, dude, it's a running joke. Like, we basically don't even mention them on the show anymore because they haven't changed. They have not changed. I mean, listen, there's been 2 times the lines have changed this year. After game 3, Velarde got hurt. So Iafallo moved up to the Jets' top line. Nemetsnikov moved to the second line. Perfetti moved to the wing. And David Gustafsson came into the lineup. That exact lineup played, I think, the next 11 games.
Yeah.
Maybe 12.
Like, that hasn't happened here in 5 years. I swear to God, I'm not even exaggerating.
Well, to be honest, that probably hasn't happened here in a long time. I mean, at least with that much consistency. But the only reason the lines have changed at all this year has been a couple of injuries. And for the first time, it's going to be interesting to see. Last night, in that game last night for the Jets, it did sort of seem like it was just such high octane. I'm kind of thinking that fourth line might have been down. No, they still got 8 minutes, 7:15. Axel, there was not really almost any. There was only 1 penalty against. They only took 1 penalty, and Tampa scored on a power play, so there wasn't really much time. But I mean, that even strength time on ice, basically around 8 minutes for the fourth line, and getting it up to. I mean, they've consistently been in double digits, and that's something new here. I mean, that really hasn't been the case. But that goes back to the trade the Jets made. With getting Dubois out of town and bringing in Velarde, who has only played the 3 games, but Iafallo and Kapari, the team is just way deeper. Like, Morgan Barron was really good last year playing on a third line with Adam Lowry. Well, he's on the fourth line now.
Yes. 4th and 1. 4th and 1 stop. Packers went for it on 4th and 1. Lions got the stop. Let's go. Money line's alive.
We're back.
Still 20-6.
Alive.
Everything's so early. The Oilers are going to make the playoffs. That's going to be amazing. It's fascinating how our 2 teams in our NHL markets here are in completely different situations right now. Like, your team seems to have that steadiness that this team is just dying for, and this team here has zero confidence. Angra in the nasty chat here over on YouTube says, "What's an insane timeline this is? The Oilers need to go 10-6-3 just to get up to where the Blues were at rock bottom in their cup year." Like, that's how bad they have been, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I feel like a fool because I'm ranting about this team all the time. I told the boys last night, I said, I'll hop on the postgame with you for 10 minutes before I leave Boston Pizza. I ended up staying for 25 minutes on the postgame because I was raging out. But like part of me still looks at them and go, man, there has to be a better team here. They can't be almost as bad as the San Jose Sharks, which is what their record says they are. Like that just seems impossible to me. So we'll see. We'll see where it comes out. JSM is in. It says there's a Drager suggestion rumor that Montreal will trade Montembeault and Matheson to Edmonton for Campbell's full cap hit plus a first rounder this year, which is tough to do simply because you could be trading a bottom 5 pick, plus a second rounder and Xavier Bourgault. And like, but that goes to show like if that is a rumor, legitimate, something that's been discussed, the Oilers think Montembeault is going to save their season. Like that's not the issue here, dude. Like the goaltending could be better, but they are a train wreck defensively. So
I still listen. I get why sometimes coaches get whacked, but how many games did Woodcroft get this season? Like a dozen?
He got 13, and he had the highest regular season winning percentage in franchise history the last 2 years. And he gets whacked after 13 games, which to me, and I said it at the time, it reeked of new hockey CEO wanting to bring in his coach and saw a window to make that happen. That's what it seemed like to me. Because you can't tell me that this team fell apart just all of a sudden because Jay Woodcroft was a bad coach. No chance.
Well, and what a spot for Knobloch to come in. I mean, I guess things can only get better, you would think. But if this team is, I can't believe we're even saying that's a possibility if it's some sort of a lost cause. That kind of, I mean, he comes in with the best players in the world in a spot where you can only go up. And if it doesn't go up, what does that do to your future, with the club? In coaching long term. I mean, obviously the guy's had a lot of experience in a number of different leagues and is still relatively young. But man, it is a mess right now. And the thing that happens with teams that are struggling like this, I mean, the vibes are so bad. You see the body language. I mean, it's almost impossible. And like Draisaitl and McDavid, or who are really, I mean, the guys that drive everything. Yeah. They just look to be so frustrated with everything, but also, I mean, their own performances. It's not like they're putting up 2 and 3 goals every night and they're giving up 6 or 7. No, they're not doing it. And they're sitting at a -7.
Connor McDavid is 5th on the team in scoring. McDavid is 5th on the team in scoring. Like, think about that for a second. Imagine that. I would have been, if you would have told me at this point of the year that Connor McDavid was 5th in the league in scoring, I would have said, oh, he's not having a good year. He's 5th on the team in scoring, which is just, there's no rhyme or reason to it, man. Like, nobody in the world would have thought Connor McDavid would be 5th on the Edmonton Oilers in scoring come American Thanksgiving. Like, it's insane.
What percentage of the nasty chat these days is trade proposals or trade ideas involving one of the two Oilers superstars?
Well, I mean, those pop up, but literally the entire core of the team has a no movement clause. So, like, Kane, Nuge, Hyman, McDavid, Draisaitl, you're not going to trade anyway. Nurse, they all have no movement clauses. So, like, it's not even like you can just go out and pull the trigger on a bunch of deals without having approval of these guys. So
I'll say this: a no movement clause is only great if guys want to stick around.
Yeah, good point.
Considering
where
good point. Is, like, if you told one of these guys, hey, we're trading you to anywhere else on a more competitive team where you don't have this black cloud around you, you know what you're getting paid. I mean, the contract's not changing. I wouldn't be surprised if that changes. Anyways, it's stunning right now. First time this season that by this model, the Oilers have less than a 50% chance to make the playoffs. And, we were talking last night. I mean, I kind of feel bad just watching what's happening with you guys. And it's great to see McDavid and Draisaitl be great players and have the Oilers in the mix. But if you are a team, for instance, like the Jets, or frankly, anybody else in the West, like, you're loving this right now, because the bottom line is, if the Oilers were to play at the pace they're going to need to play at to get into the playoffs, by definition, they would be one of the hotter teams in the league going into the point. And like, who would want to play an Oiler team that had a great second half of the season, fought back from this start as the 8th seed? Like, that's your reward for being the #1 team in the conference so far this year. So I don't know, man. It is a real head scratcher. Almost as head scratching as how the Lions have given up 20 points already.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to work their way back into this. Ball game. We'll keep tabs on it. Pat Gregoire is going to join us coming up here in a little bit. Hey, how about the New Jersey Devils letting us down yesterday? Jonathan Quick with the shutout. Rangers win 1-0, and we did get the 7 goals in the Colorado-Vancouver game.
We did.
But the New Jersey Devils just kind of almost a no-show yesterday, Hus.
I mean, listen, I didn't watch any of the game, but I looked. It was like 3-0 early, 4-0, and that was that. Well done. I think the Wings had a great crowd yesterday and had, I don't know if you caught this, maybe the greatest in-arena promo giveaway I've ever seen.
What did they do? I didn't see this.
So it's the day before Thanksgiving. They gave out to people at the game a Red Wings Zamboni gravy boat. It was a big Red Wings Zamboni with a handle on it that you put the gravy in for Thanksgiving dinner.
Brilliant.
So maybe, that was almost picked. 4th down, not good.
Oh, I'm only watching the 3rd down right now. So I'm a little bit behind you because I'm streaming.
Total on this game now. The total on this game now is 59.5.
59.5. It's sitting at 26 already. 10 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Goff is about to throw this near interception, as you just described it, for with what I'm watching. Hey, before we get into it, oh boy, yeah, that was not good. Before we're joined by Pat and we dive into these next 2 games, we'll take a look at some player props. Obviously, Commanders, Cowboys. The lines have moved in. The Commanders are now 13.5-point dogs. We took it to 14 yesterday. But before we go there quickly, man, what do you think of Greg Popovich grabbing the mic while Kawhi
what the hell is that?
At the line? I don't know. Like I feel like I know it's. I almost feel bad for laughing at it because he must be going insane. He must be going crazy.
I was just about to say.
Like,
Pop's out there, and he is arguably maybe the best coach of all time.
He's one of the greatest coaches in all team sports ever. I mean, he's up on that list, right?
So, it was the most bizarre thing I think I've ever seen. Like, it wasn't like they were throwing shit at him.
No,
they were just booing. Like. And this is the guy that ditched. I mean, listen, there's a lot of history there with Kawhi in San Antonio. But I don't get it. Like, maybe Pop's trying to say, hey, make a plea to other players that they're a class act, class organization. They're not going to treat you poorly. Come here, play with Wemby. I don't know. But yes, it did seem like he was maybe getting a little like borderline senile. It was not something to make fun of, but
no, it's not.
Like, I had
that's why I was like,
before, and I heard it on your show.
Yeah.
And then I fired it up and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. That is
I don't know. Like, I guess Pop can do whatever he wants because most PA announcers would not just hand the mic over to the head coach mid-game.
Give me the mic.
That's not gonna happen.
The only time I can ever remember a coach speaking to the fans is that infamous game back in the 80s between the Browns and the Bengals, where the Cincinnati fans were throwing snowballs at the players, and Sam Weich grabbed the microphone and go, listen, stop this right now. You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati. Let's show it. Like, you managed to diss Cleveland at the same time while telling everyone to stop it.
GSM in the YouTube chat says, Popovich is all-time a great coach, and he was right to telling the fans to shut up. Good for him. What do you mean he's right to tell the fans to shut up? If they want to boo Kawhi Leonard, they can boo Kawhi Leonard. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
are we outlawing booing now in pro sports?
Well, I like how there was a partial booing of Pop after he walked away.
Oh,
it was
me
like,
too.
boo. which I thought was kind of funny.
GSM, that is a wild take.
Yeah.
No more booing.
I can't agree with you on that one, man. Thank you for watching the Lock Shop and everything, but I mean, if fans want to boo Kawhi Leonard because he used to play there and he doesn't anymore, then let them boo Kawhi Leonard. It's an all-time bad look for Pop to grab the mic. And that's why
Everyone, our opponent is about to shoot free throws. Can we please have quiet?
Quiet, please. Can you please just let Kawhi shoot these free throws in peace? Like, I don't know. I mean, they must have a great relationship, but my goodness, man, that was a weird one. That was a weird one.
Hey, let's you know what? Why don't we, when Patty comes on, we can just kind of hit maybe a couple of TD scorers and some props for these games.
Yeah.
But what do you think about this game tomorrow? Miami, New York Jets.
9.5, eh?
Tim Boyle coming in. Jets at home, 9.5. Dolphins did not destroy the Raiders last week at home. I could see this game being closer. I think I'm leaning towards taking the points with the Jets as the home dog. Will they get a boost from the quarterback change? By the way, Zach Wilson handled it very, very well. I don't know if you saw his interview. Seems like he's maturing, being the role of a good teammate, was not being a suck about it. Said, hey, when you don't score touchdowns and you don't score points, things are going to happen. But that's a big, big number to lay on the road. Although, with it being the first Black Friday game, I could see one former Chief Tyreek Hill having a massive game and kind of putting his stamp on maybe Offensive Player of the Year, although he'll be going up against McCaffrey for that one.
Tim Boyle, who started 3 games for the Detroit Lions, the only 3 games he's ever started. 3 career passing touchdowns, 9 career interceptions. I mean, but it is a big number. And the Jets defense has been good. Yeah, I think I'd probably ride with you on the Jets on that one, but I'm not overly confident on it. I don't love it. I don't love it either way. Pat Gregoire is going to join us. We'll get into that. We got these other 2 games that we're going to get to as well. And we're still keeping tabs on the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. Green Bay leading there 20-6. Patty, what's going on, buddy? How you doing, man?
Happy American Thanksgiving. This is by far one of my favorite holidays of the year. And I don't care that it's not a real holiday in the beautiful country of Canada. It's real to me, damn it. And I love it.
It's the best Thursday of the year, isn't it, boys? Like, tell me a Thursday that tops this Thursday. What else could we have? Like, opening nights in the NFL, the Thursday nighter, like
maybe like
first Thursday of the Masters.
First Thursday of the Masters.
Yeah, that's close, but man, this is good. This is good.
That's true.
The thing is, that's weird. One, it shows that. I mean, you look at the score right now. I don't think a lot of people were expecting that, but even though you look at the next game, Commanders, Cowboys, big spread there, and then 49ers, Seahawks, like I'm still really excited for all 3 of these games. Like I'm excited for the matchup. Mind you, maybe it's just the glow of it being Thanksgiving games and a game, like 3 games on Thursday. But I think there's a lot of betting opportunities in all 3 of these games, man. Like I'm really looking forward to the next couple ones. Hopefully for Patty G's tease that the Lions can pick up their socks here and irk out another win. A team that used to automatically cover, man, seems like they really can't find a way to cover if they're heavy favorites. This is getting crazy, man.
Well, they're getting drove on right now from what I'm seeing. I'm about a down behind because I'm streaming it off my phone. But
how about Jake Bull and Moss coming into your kitchen, Dusty, and calling them frauds?
Oh, please.
Starting to look like it might be true. Maybe it's true. We know
they went into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs.
Well,
that was like what? That was 2 years ago, man.
That was also the Kadarius Toney game where if you just played DB instead of wide receiver, they would have won the game.
They're not frauds.
Their defense is a problem, and I'm not talking about the way that kids say it as a good thing. Like their D is really not good. That's why I took the over, and the over's setting at live right now
60
over 15.
Yeah, 60.5 right now because Green Bay's marching again here.
I'm considering doubling down on that. Like their defense, don't get me wrong, they're going to finish with a ton of regular season wins, probably going to win a playoff game or come close to it, whatever it may be. This team's not going on a deep run, Dusty. I really like what they're doing. I think they're on the right track, but that defense cannot win come January. Like I
Plus
really don't.
225.
Especially what's that?
Plus 225
Us
live
just
bet
keeps
right
randomly yelling out the live bet number on Moneyline. It's plus 225 right now.
Like I mean, I could see them coming back and winning this because their offense is elite. But if they don't get the number one seed in their conference and they got to go outside and play in the cold, like I really don't see how this team.
I think they could get the number one seed in the conference, though.
That's their only
Right?
way.
Like
That is honestly their only
I think,
way.
Well, they better not
I think
lose this game then.
I think
exactly.
even with the loss here, I think they could still get the number one seed in the conference.
I don't know. Maybe I'm bitter right now because I've bet them like 3 weeks in a row. They haven't been able to cover, and they might ruin my teas before the turkey is even served. So maybe I am being a little bit grouchy here, but I don't know. The defense is a cause for concern, and man, I'm so happy I bet the over.
Let's quickly get to these other couple games. Maybe a prop or two from the mind of P. Greggy. What I'm looking at some touchdown props for this Washington Dallas game. Some pretty nice numbers on Commanders players. I will say that.
Well, I think if you're looking for props, like I certainly I believe the Cowboys are going to win. I don't really want to lay the 14, but they've covered like 13 and a half. They've covered big spreads this year. Like this offense is legit.
Yeah, 6 of their 7 wins have been 20 points or more. Like it's
crazy,
they
right?
cover big spreads,
like,
man.
If they win big, and it's when they lose to elite teams that's when they irk it out, or they can't irk it out. Cowboys averaging over 30 points per game. That's second best in the entire NFL. Commanders are giving up the most points per game on average, 27.7 points. They're also giving up the third most passing yards per game, and they have the worst opponent QBR over 100. So I'm taking the over. I'd even consider taking the Cowboys team total. I think it's 30 or 30 and a half. I love Brandon Cooks over 36 and a half yards. I know CD is the heartbeat of this offense, but Cooks in his last few games, man, he has really started to heat up. He's hit this total in 3 of the 4. 2 weeks ago, he had 173. Mind you, it was against the Giants, but the Commanders defense, not much better than the Giants. If not, they might actually be worse. He's averaging just over 11 yards per catch this season, but in the last 2 games, it's up to 16 and a half. So I think he could get this in 2 or 3 catches. So give me Cooks over 36 and a half yards as well. Oh, also in the exclusive tab, I love this bet. Picks giving, Sam Howell and Dak Prescott both to throw an interception plus 190. I really like that one.
I'm not seeing that one right now in the exclusives.
That did that one go off the board? I'll have to give me a second here. Refresh this here because trust me, I know that's on there.
It didn't have a tie-in with the early game.
No, it shouldn't have. Well, we'll get JBM on the case there to see what's going on with that one because that one should be online.
Hus, what do you got for props in this Dallas-Washington game?
Well, I am, and again, I'm on Washington to score some points in this game. The guy that I like the most is Brian Robinson Jr. And, when they have played the tough teams, the Phillies, Frisco, those sort of teams, he's a guy that still has an impact and often gets in. So at plus 150, I do like him. I am partial to Terry McLaurin. He's at plus 240. He has not done very much as of late. But I think I'm going to roll with Brian Robinson there. And then I also like, I'm kind of high on George Kittle. He's been really, really good lately.
Mm-hmm.
His over receptions is 4.5 at plus 130. I like that. And I actually put together a Robinson Kittle touchdown parlay, which comes together at plus 557. So I'm in on the plus 150. And then if that comes through, we'll have a real nice number for a Kittle TD. So I'll be looking for George Kittle. McCaffrey over 4.5 receptions is also plus money. which I kind of like. I mean, I think with Purdy, they will listen. McCaffrey's going to be front and center all night as he usually is. They find different ways of getting him the ball. So at plus money with the like I said, if you went with Kittle over 4.5 and McCaffrey over 4.5, they're both at plus money. I think there's a good chance that both of those. I think they'll kind of Shanahan, like shorter passes, ball control. So I think I'm going to jump on a couple of those as well.
It's funny you mentioned Kittle because I've got Kittle and Laporta on a touchdown parlay. We've already got Laporta touchdown, so now we just got Kittle. So I just figured a little tight end action. I like that. I really like Kittle. I think he's heating up at the right time. That's a play that I like there. I think the 49ers do win this game. The 7 points is a little bit like I'd almost consider buying a half a point, but then again, like no Walker is how healthy is Geno? Do the 49ers flex their muscles or, can Seattle keep it close? So I'm probably going to ride those Kittle props with you there. But from a Seattle standpoint, I like DK over 56.5 reception yards. He is really starting to pick up his game. He's averaging 71.8 yards per game. In his last 2 games, he's averaging actually 96. And if you could find a weakness in this 49ers team, it's their passing defense. They're allowing over 221 yards per game, which is about mid-pack at 15th. So I think the fact that no Walker, he's not going to play. The fact that I think 49ers might have a lead in this game throughout the entire game, they're going to actually have to throw the ball more. So I think DK hits this 56.5, no problem. I'll go with that one from a Seattle standpoint.
I'm also taking Purdy over 1.5 passing touchdowns, minus 110 today.
Okay, like that. Add that one to my card as well.
Yeah, Purdy, I like that too. Purdy over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Just on the follow-up on the McCaffrey thing, Hus, because you were talking about him at 4.5, right?
Yeah, 4.5.
So, yeah, his last 3 games, targeted 5 times, caught them all. Targeted 10 times, caught 6 of them. Targeted 7 times, and caught 6 of them as well. So he's gone over that 4.5 in the last 3 games here that he has played. So I like that.
I've got to ask, guys, prime time. I know every game is a standalone. Field goals. Commanders, Cowboys, plus 125. That doesn't really scream field goal to me, but it's a principle, so I will be betting it. The other one, though, 49ers, Seahawks, plus 110. This one I could kind of see maybe getting a little bit of a field goal battle here. What are you guys' thoughts on the people's bet?
Well, we're definitely not going to say no to it. I mean, I think that's
it is already in the chamber.
Good,
and has been fired.
Okay. I knew I wouldn't be riding alone. Did you guys see the gravy boot? By the way, that was the combined.
Oh no, we didn't see that one.
Plus. Yeah, so that one was tied in for the first game, so that one went off the board.
What was that?
Combined field goals throughout the day. I believe it was at 12 at plus 200.
The gravy. Oh yeah, I like that.
I don't know. We were talking about the gravy boat that they gave out at the Red Wings.
That's what I thought you mentioned. I thought that's what you mentioned.
No, I unfortunately wasn't able to listen into the show before. Normally, I pop on at 1 and wait until you guys bring me out of the penalty box. But no, actually, a buddy of mine that I went to school with, I saw in his Instagram story, he was down there. He's watching. So he made the trip, watched the Wings yesterday, and now he's at the Lions game. He's a Lions fan, so he's probably not too thrilled with the score right now. But, yeah, I had to bring up the gravy. I feel bad for bringing it up now that you guys can't bet it. But that was, I think, when Jake and I put our heads together at the start of the day yesterday, that might have been bet number 1 that was put
That's
together.
A good one. I like the way that came together. I like it. That's good. Patty, I know you're not going to be able to join us tomorrow, but do you have any thoughts on that Dolphins-Jets game?
That one's the Jets are really, really bad. I know their defense is good, but 9.5 points is a lot. Tim Boyle over 1.5 interceptions at plus 155 certainly is intriguing. You mentioned nine
in his career. He's not a good quarterback, boys. Like
no, I unless they yank him out, I absolutely could see him
Plus 155 on that.
for 2. Yeah, I know. I don't know. For me, maybe it's just to hammer a bunch of overs on some Dolphins. Like, I don't know. Like 9.5 seems like a lot because of how the Jets defense, but look what the Bills were able to do. Like,
Yeah,
it
good
doesn't
point.
matter how good. It doesn't matter how good they are if your offense is only, staying on the field for 3 plays and a punt every single time. Your defense is going to get gassed. And the way that the Dolphins play up tempo, a lot of motion, that defense is going to get tired. So, God, I can't believe I'm now talking myself into it. Maybe I do lay the points with the Dolphins at -9.5. I don't know, man. It'll probably be props.
Divisional game, home dog, new QB. I'll be taking the points on this one. Although I'm having a tough time looking at any Jet prop. Like Breece Hall's rushing is over 49.5. I think I probably like that. I think he's going to get a ton of touches tomorrow. Let's see. Do we have, no, there's no receiving yards. And Tyreek Hill over 74.5. It just seems like it's going to be a big Tyreek game. Like McDaniel's so good at finding ways to get the ball into his hands. And the minute he's got it, he makes things happen no matter how good the defense he's playing against is.
Big time slate tomorrow in the National Hockey League. Jake is going to pop by with us on that one. We'll set up the rest of the weekend in the National Football League as well. Hus, what do you got coming up on Winnipeg Sports Talk today, buddy?
Well, there's going to be a pretty fired up group of WSTers to talk about that game last night.
Winnipeg Jets, man. What a run. What a run.
Yeah, exactly. The 94% to make the playoffs right now, they're saying. And a big game tomorrow against our old pal, Paul Maurice. So the vibes will be good in the WST chat. Rowiki's jumping on, Scott Billick as well. And our old pal, I don't know if you know Andy McNeil, the digital gambler. He's gonna jump on with us. We'll kind of pick his brain a little bit for these late games and see what Andy's got going on. So lots of Jets and hockey talk, and then we'll sort of probably talk about this game and see where it's at by the time we're finished up our program and get into a little more chat about the Commanders, Cowboys, the Niners, and Seahawks, and then that game tomorrow. So it should be good. Dusty, it's going to be good to have you back on a Friday for the biggest show of the week.
I know. I'm looking forward to it, boys. Not going to lie. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. But
Pat, before I go, what are you feeling? I'm hearing a lot of people actually liking the Bills and the points against the Eagles. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I don't know how you could. Honestly, I really. I think the line just moved. It's down now to 3 as we say that. You get the Bills 3 at +100 or take the Eagles -3 at -118. And let's be honest, like, I'm not a Eagles truther and that they're not legit and their record doesn't show how good they are, but the record really doesn't show how good they are. That doesn't mean that they're not a good team and they're not one of the best teams in the NFL, but they haven't showed it. They have just continually found ways to win. Like KC, like they deserve to win that game. If they had one capable receiver and even their most, consistent pass catcher in Kelsey did not have his best game. He
fumbled in the red zone.
And then had a really bad drop for a first down. Mind you, I think 2 plays later he made a big catch. But the Eagles should have a couple L's on their side. With that being said, though, like the Bills really, they had a get-right game against a really bad Jets team. This is still a prove-it spot. So if I had to lean, I'd take Eagles -3. But I don't bet against my own team. So,
Dusty, at halftime, I need you to text the Dan Campbell and tell him to get the boys.
Yeah,
get it right. Big second half coming up. Let's first let's get these money line bets. But it'd be nice if they could really, remind the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love who they are.
This is
cover that 6.5, and
it's a garbage start.
Let's move on from there. Still lots of time to keep on these going. Total right now 56.5, so it's gone down a little bit with the bet.
All right, that is going to do it for the Lock Shop today. Myself and Hus will be back tomorrow with Jake from CoolBet. Patty, enjoy the action this weekend, my man.
Thanks,
I
Pat.
will. Thanks, boys.
There you go. That's
Dusty,
the lock
catch you
shop
tomorrow.
for a Thursday. The meltdown of the Lions continues. My goodness. All right, let's get into it. Fantasy Football 5. We got live action. Maddie, you can kill the lock shop lineup there. Fantasy Football 5 brought to you by our partners at Century Casino Fort Road, where you can join Lieutenant Eric for the third game of this triple header later on today between the Seahawks and the Niners.
And he's got a couple things going with him today.
Oh, what's he taking today? What's he taking?
I've given one of everything.
Just like one of everything.
Oh, like I've all three items.
Okay, all right.
I think there's a few of each of
So
them.
he's got some lanyards.
He's got some
He's
lanyards,
got some decals.
EST stickers, and
He's got some
EST
stickers.
decals, which, by the way,
Perfect,
to also,
love
I haven't thrown this out there yet, but anyone who's in the Nasty Club annual membership, we'll be throwing those into the pack as well. Don't you worry.
Perfect. So it's a little bonus.
We're going to throw those in. We
Little
got
bonus for
those,
the
so we'll go
Nasties.
those for those people, but he's got a little EST swag for him going down
That's
to
real
Century
nice.
Casino tonight.
I like that. Let me start this installment of the Fantasy Football 5 by telling Christian Watson he can go to hell. This guy finally decides to step up. I mean, I've had him in fantasy a bunch this year. He's got 4 catches for 78 yards in the first half of this game against the Detroit Lions. They're not really doing too much on the ground. It's all Jordan Love. Like, what the hell is going on with Jordan Love in this game? 12 of 15 for 175 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Jordan Love is going to be a top 12 quarterback this week. That's a QB1 this week just based on the first half against the Detroit Lions today. So, and they're driving again right now. Like, I'm in a full-blown meltdown mode. How is this happening? It's driving me nuts. As for the rest of the games today, who even cares at this point? Like, I cannot believe we're losing to a – like, this isn't even an Aaron Rodgers good Packers team. This is an awful Green Bay Packers team. And they're just walking all over the Lions right now. Dan Campbell, please get it together. Holy smokes. As for the other games today, Dallas Cowboys and the Commanders, as far as if you have any start and sit questions for these games today, fire them over right now. We're only going to have about 4 or 5 minutes. So hit us up, 780-218-9999, or in the Nasty Chat as well, 780-218-9999. Beef Nips is in. Fantasy 5 question, Logan Thomas or Pitts at tight end this week. I'd still say I'd probably go with Pitts at that point. Big G says, Patty says he bets on NCAA football. Does he post his picks anywhere? I'm interested in betting some NCAA football, but I know nothing about it. Big G, if you're still listening, what you'll see it pop up on the weekend. It'll be in the exclusive section, and the boys will usually have some NCAA exclusives for you over at coolbet.com. Just click in the exclusive section probably later on Friday-ish, I would think. As for the Commanders and Cowboys, tonight, when we're looking at must-starts, I mean, you're starting Dak Prescott. You are starting CeeDee Lamb. Depending on the lineup that you have, Brandon Cooks would be a deeper play in deeper leagues. Brian Robinson, you're starting. Tony Pollard, you're extremely disappointed with him this year, but you're starting him as well. And then the receivers for the Commanders, I mean, it's hit and miss. You can start Terry McLaurin. Might not be his game. Hasn't done much lately. Managed to trade him to get a first-round pick in one of our leagues, so that was nice. And then you look at some of the other options they've got their receiver as well. It's in a perfect world, I don't want to start any Commanders receivers, but depending on what your lineup looks like, there's a couple that you might be able to get away with. And then in that second game, the third game of the day, the second one tonight, I mean, you're basically starting all of your San Francisco 49ers. You're starting McCaffrey. You're starting Ayuk. You're starting Kittle. You're starting Debo. You're starting – I mean, I think you're probably starting Purdy this week and would expect him to be somewhere in that 10 to 14-ish range. And then on the Seahawks side of things, you don't want to start Geno, I don't think. You're probably going to start Charbonnet with Walker being banged up. And you're starting DK. And that's all I'd really be excited about in that one tonight. But start, obviously, all your Niners. This could be one of those games where I think the Niners help you win your week because, I don't know, man. It's a big game. If the Seahawks win this game, they go to 7-4, and the Niners fall to 7-4. I just think the best of the Niners is so much better than the best of the Seahawks. That's why Hus and I moved that number down to 6.5 and threw the Niners on a little parlay yesterday. A parlay that's going to be killed if the Detroit Lions don't get going here in the second half. The good news is they got the ball back with about 30 seconds left. With the way it's going, that's about enough time for Jared Goff to throw a pick or fumble it. Maddie's just loving my meltdown here on the Lions.
If you could have like half of this for our watch party tomorrow during the Oilers game, will be great.
Oh, God. Jared Goff so far in that game, 8 of 13, 100 yards. He does have a passing touchdown. Went to Sam Laporta. Laporta, obviously, hopefully you started him. You got to start him every single week. He's top 6 tight end. Amon-Ra St. Brown had him for a touchdown earlier today on our show. I do still like that. If you could double down on a St. Brown TD in the second half. He's only got 2 catches so far. Jared Goff and the offense will get going. They can't be as bad as they were in the freaking first half of this football game. So I expect they probably turn things around a little bit as well. All right, that's going to do it for the Fantasy Football 5 as we continue to work our way towards Fantasy Football playoffs. It's all brought to you by the Sports Bar and Lounge at Century Casino on Fort Road, and join Lieutenant Eric tonight for the they got the free square board there, and go see Eric. Get yourself an EST sticker. We're just giving those away for the first time. The lanyards and stuff started getting dished out last night as well at Boston Pizza, which ended up being a pretty good time there for the Oilers game. 2 guys and a goalie coming up. Ooh, how about this? Oilers have mixed the lines up again. The gift that keeps on giving. 2 guys and a goalie coming up with myself, Cass and Gager. Don't go anywhere here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.